Texas GOP has now announced that it intends to sue the state of Texas to close the Republican primaries. It's not something you hear about every day where the Republican Party sues the state, which is dominated by Republicans. So, what's going on here, and why did it come to this?
Well, the Republican Party of Texas, we wanted to have a close primaries for many, many years now. So we've had this as a priority, as a part of platform for many cycles, and we expected our legislators to take care of this at the legislative session. In the last convention that was held in San Antonio in 2024 convention, about 10,000 people delegation came together and said, we're going to change our rules to have the Republican primaries closed. And we had about three bills in the last legislative session that we liked and we expected it to pass. But unfortunately, that did not happen. So we are left with an option that is to sue the state. It's really not against any specific elected official. The state law does not allow us to have a closed primary, so we're just trying to get the court to tell us that, hey, yeah, the Republican Party of Texas have the right to have a closed primaries, and we have the right to associate with the people that we believe are Republicans. So that's the idea.
So legally, you think that a judge can decide this, or is it a case where the judges say you got to get the law changed through the legislature?
No, there is other states who's done this in the past, including some Republican states. So this is done. This has happened before with other states. So we believe the lieutenant governor, the governor, the attorney general, they have to uphold the law that is put together by the legislator. But a court can say, that the law is unconstitutional when it comes to Republican Party. They have the right to have their primaries closed if they choose to have it. So we are expecting our statewide leaders to be on our side on this, and there are some talks going on about that, but we're not anywhere near to have a conversation yet.
I was just going to ask you if, the attorney general or, the senators, the governor, the lieutenant governor, do they support the party's effort on this? Did they support legislation?
I think they do. I talked to Attorney General before about this, and this was part of a larger conversation at the convention where many of them attended. Lieutenant Governor was there. Uh, Governor Greg Abbott came on a video call, so they understand this. Governor always sends someone to the SREC meeting. And so it's not a secret. We've been working on this for a while, and party finally came to a place. Okay, the session is over, we've got to get this done. And the SREC, the state Republican executive committee that met this weekend in Austin, decided to go forward with the litigation.
And why is it so important to the party that there be closed primaries?
Good question. So Republican Party is basically the governing party in the state of Texas, and we come to a point a lot of times that there are legislators who get elected by Republican under the Republican banner, but a lot of times they get elected by Democrats because the Democrats like to choose the weakest Republican and put them in the nomination process. We're not saying this is not real election. This is a nomination process for our name, our ballot. So the real election happens in November. But this has been working against us, our principles, our priorities, and I'll give you an example. Dade Phelan, who was his former speaker, won by 366 votes in the last election cycle, who stood against Republican priorities and principles and our platform openly in the 88th legislative session. He had almost 3,000 Democrats move over in his election to get him elected. Otherwise, his opponent would have won that election. So there is a reason why the party is frustrated with this process of any Democrat can come and choose the Republican nominee. and find the weakest Republican or even a liberal and put them on the our ballot under our name, and we had to work to get them elected. So we're kind of done with that. So we want real conservatives, real Republicans who will uphold the party's principles and our priorities.
What impact do you think that's going to have in 2026? Because, as you know, we've already got a contentious GOP primary for U.S. Senate between Senator Cornyn and the Attorney General.
I don't know if there's going to be a huge difference. It's going to make any big difference in that election itself, but I don't know. I haven't looked at any of the numbers. This is not specific to any specific election, including 2026 primaries. What we are trying to do is which is something we've been working on for close to a decade to close our primaries. We believe only Republicans should choose Republican nominees, then put them on the ballot for the November election, and then the people, everyone, will get to choose who is going to be the elected official. This is like, if I'm a huge Cowboys fan, and I'm sure you are too, and it's like Eagles choosing the Cowboys quarterback. It doesn't make any sense. Why would you have the opposing team choose your nominees? So that's the problem we have, and that's what we're doing. That's why we're doing this.
For the record, I am a Cowboys fan, but let me ask you, as far as the March 2026 primary. So if this court case, these legal cases usually take a long time, right? So that being said, what impact do you think, if this is not in, will have on the March 2026 primary?
Well, I don't think any statewide elections will have a major impact on, and if it didn't happen by 26 primary, we are expecting it to happen before that. Our legal team, our believes that we can make it happen over the next few months. If it doesn't happen, it will. I think what were the most impactful elections will be the down ballot elections like House reps, maybe even like county commissioners, county judges, the partisan races, but more local elections in a way. Those will have a huge impact that they can still have Democrats come over and put a Republican nominee on the ballot for the November election. But the statewide, it's very partisan, very well-known elections. So most of the time, that's not the case for those.
Is there any scenario that you and the party have considered in which possibly it could hurt the Republicans? I mean, are there independents out there who lean Republican and who count on voting in the Republican primary, even though they may not consider themselves formally Republicans?
Well, I mean, Jack, you got to see there are other states who choose their nominee at their convention. They don't even have a primary. There are states who will have it on their caucus. So we're not even saying that. We could do that and have 10,000 people make that choice instead of the entire state of Texas. We're not saying that. We want people to be on our side. And most independents these days, because of how radical Democrats have become, are Republicans now, and they want to be Republicans. We saw some study recently. We did this properly, and see a lot of people, especially in South Texas area, they want to be Republicans now. They didn't. We flipped about 12 out of the 14 counties in the last cycle from Democrat to Republican. Those people want to be known as Republican. They are Trump Republicans. They are conservative Republicans who is moving away from the Democrat Party. So I don't think this is a problem. I think they would love to have the name, because today anybody could say they're Republican, and there is no registry, there is no membership, there is no record of you being a Republican other than your last voting record. So this will make them a real Republican. We'll give them a banner, a name ID saying, "Hey, I'm a Republican. I'm a registered Republican in the state of Texas, which is the one of the dark red Republican state in the entire nation." So people are excited about this.
And as far as cost, I know the state reimburses the parties for running the primaries, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Under this scenario, would that change? In other words, would Republicans lose lose state funding because they closed their primaries, or no?
No, I don't think so. What we are asking is asking the court is to tell the Secretary of State to have one more field in the voter registration uh, application. That is to allow the Republicans to check a box and say, I'm a registered Republican. That's it. If Democrats want it, they can have it as well. We don't care if they have it or not. If you're an independent, don't check either one of those boxes or have an independent box. Green Party, Libertarians, there's a bunch of parties, and then you can be whatever you want in those check boxes. And if you choose not to, that's fine. You still get to choose a Republican in November ballot. So we're not really rebuilding the entire primary structure. We're just asking the SOS to add one more field. That's it, one more field to the voter registration roll that says, if you're a Republican, check this box and we will let you cast a ballot in the Republican primary. That's it.